Cheers, everybody, and welcome. If you're watching this right now, you are about to jump onto a timeline where you are entering into the creator mode. I'm going to explain to you guys what this is and how we can engage with this way of being through using self-talk, using affirmations, really just embodying this. And let's begin. So one way that I like to think about this is dominion thinking. You are thinking in a way where you are claiming authority over your reality. You are not at the whim of circumstances. You are not at the effect of circumstances. Rather, you are declaring, some people call it commanding. You can call it that if you want. Sometimes when we're not in a state of fully aligned inner conviction and confidence, it can be easier to begin with suggestions, suggesting the mind, suggesting to yourself, auto-suggestion, right? That's where we get the OG phrase to describe robotic affirmations. But really what we're doing is, you hear things people talk about becoming the God of your reality, and it's all good and well to say that, but when your conscious mind is asking, well, if that was true, why do I feel powerless in this situation? Why haven't I gotten my desires if that's true? These are some ways that you can begin to nudge yourself in the right direction, beginning to go towards that you are in the authority in your reality. So we can begin to use techniques that I have in my book. By the way, if you guys are interested in the book, click the link in the description. You'll be added to the list where you'll be notified as soon as it's available. It's called the Robotic Affirmation Code, the formula for successful manifestation on autopilot. And it has all of these techniques and many, many more in there that are going to put you well on your way to manifesting everything that you've been trying to manifest when it comes to your goals. So this technique, we're using a couple techniques that I discussed in the book, asking and suggestion to soften the declaration or proclamation or command, right? You hear people like Tony Robbins saying, I now command my subconscious mind to do this, this, and this. And you can do that. You can get in the mirror and command and declare with that conviction and authority. But this is another technique you can use. You can say, what would it feel like if I were becoming more powerful and exercising more authority over my physical reality? And simply by asking, see, this is something in psychology. This is something that people in sales use all the time. As soon as you ask a question, the mind has to come up with an answer. So a lot of people in sales will ask qualifying questions or buying questions to get the person to imagine what the salesman wants them to imagine. For example, I could say, what would it feel like knowing that let's say that we're in the market for a house. Yeah, how amazing is that pool? How amazing would that feel to be sitting out there with your family under the starry sky, dipping your toes in the water? I mean, this pool right here it's got a heat pump already attached. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. It's got automation with it. How nice is it going to be when you're on a trip with your family on vacation and you're able to get that pool heated before you guys are even get back? So as soon as you get back, you get to relax in that pool with the family, right? These are the types of things that you hear salesmen talk about because it gets your mind imagining that. Even as I'm describing that situation to you, I'm sure that you probably had some sort of visual that accompanied that. This is how you can use this with your own mind to allow yourself to then dwell. Your consciousness is now dwelling into this state. What would it be like if I felt that pure conviction and authority over my reality rather than being at the victim of circumstances? What would it feel like if I was the one that was self-validating of myself? If I had so much positive energy that was fueling me all the time that I didn't seek external validation all the time? How would that feel to know that deep well of self-trust that's just building up the more and more that I do this, the more and more that I take action, and the more that I stand here in front of the mirror and tell myself and declare this to be true? So you can apply that. Another way that you can do this is to use the phrase, I choose. Like I've discussed in many recent videos, manifestation is really about making decisions, because every decision is a declaration of what you're declaring to be true for you in your reality. So, some examples of this. I choose to be the version of myself who believes in myself. I choose to be the version of myself for whom this work comes easy. And this book writes itself, right? In the context of writing this book that I'm working on. I choose to enjoy the process. I choose to love and appreciate myself. I choose to show up in the moment for myself every day. I choose to allow myself to feel good. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to feel proud of the accomplishments we've already had. I choose to look at the bright side of things. I choose to look at the small wins that I've been stacking this entire year. And even all the things that are still on my goal list, I choose to acknowledge that I've stacked up all these wins over here and that those wins are just inevitable. It's just inevitable. My success is inevitable, right? I choose to step into alignment with a version of myself who benefits all those who come in contact with my energy. So what are we doing here? We're reinforming the narrative of who we are and how we're interacting with the world around us, how we're interacting with our 3D. People are at the crux of manifestation. We've talked about this before. When you're able to show up in a way that people respond to you positively, now you're really exercising your power to manifest, because most things in life, whether it is relationships, whether it's, career choices, making money, they're contingent upon human interaction. We don't live in a vacuum. We're interacting with others all the time. I choose to be the highest version of myself possible. And when you choose to be somebody who people benefit from being around you all the time, when you choose to be the tide that rises all ships, people will respond positively to you. The law of reciprocity kicks in. Everybody loves somebody who loves themselves and who is taking action and being aligned with that version of themselves that they declare to be. People like people of action. People don't like people that just talk about things, don't execute, right? I choose, saying the phrase choosing, I choose, implies that you have the authority to choose. Using language like I decide, I declare, I am, implies a level of dominion and authority over your reality. So even just by using this phrase, you're already working in a direction that implies that you have this ability. Somebody that felt incapable or not authoritative wouldn't even be using this type of language, right? It's no exaggeration to say that we have been brainwashed into seeking permission from outside authorities, and becoming this powerful and adept magician, entering into God mode, is about learning to unlearning these habits that have been counterproductive for us, right? Throughout our lives. To affirm is to decide. It's not a petition. You're not asking. You are deciding, and there's a level of intention and power that comes with this. Deciding something. Another way of saying this is resolve. Do you have resolve? Do you have conviction? You must get back in touch with this aspect of your being. A lot of people will make fun of rituals nowadays, but all of these ancient mystery schools, they employed rituals because human beings are a lot more likely to believe something when it's done in the context of a ritual. And also by combining the energy of more than one person, people allow themselves to believe in something more. But you must give yourself permission for this to work. Give yourself permission to trust yourself and acknowledge that you are more powerful than you realize. Great people have done this, and it's time for you to do this too. To begin to lead yourself, to begin to give yourself the permission, give yourself the approval. Get rid of the shackles imposed by those who simply don't know better, or know this all too well, but are afraid of you getting in touch with your power. So tell yourself, my conscious mind is the watchman at the gate, protecting my mind from false impressions. It rejects all thoughts, this is from Joseph Murphy, by the way, that do not comply with the universal principles of health, love, wisdom, and abundance. It turns away any suggestions that pose a threat to my self-esteem. I am what I think, and through my conscious mind, I have total control over my thoughts. Again, you are exercising this control by saying this. I choose to entertain thoughts of peace, joy, health, love, abundance, and goodwill to all. And again, that last thing at the end is kind of engaging in that forgiveness process. And again, forgiveness isn't about the other people. It's much more about yourself, because as long as you are holding on with this tense energy and, holding on to these negative emotions, you have taken in the poison for yourself. It's not about the other person. It's about getting yourself, clearing up that foggy mirror, that foggy lens that you're seeing through. So reject the notion that life has to be hard, that it has to be a struggle. If you have the options of living in a Shakespearean tragedy or comedy, choose the comedy. Choose an epic adventure in which you come out victorious, where your name is synonymous with victory. Similar to the idea that we get to do things, this is another reframe, that we get to do things that we previously had to or needed to do, we can adopt the frame that things that we used to think of as hard are now easy or fun. So it's easy for me. It's easy for me to get my work done. Work is easy. Work is fun. It's easy for me to follow through on what I say I'm going to do. It's easy for me to stick with my affirmation practice. It's easy for me to do my affirmations in the mirror. Affirming to myself who I'm becoming is fun, right? Embrace the process. You can also try adding these adjectives to make these more engaging for yourself. So, grateful, comfortable, safe, satisfying, quickly, smoothly, easily, effortlessly, delightfully, magically, amazingly. And then other ones you can do is like more and more, easier and easier. These are things that gently shift us in that direction, because sometimes there may be resistance, again, to outwardly just declaring something when you feel as if it might not be true. But it is much easier for the mind to accept, like, I choose to find it fun to think up for new ideas for my business. My projects are starting to come together more and more smoothly. Things are beginning to work out more easily and effortlessly for me. These are things that the mind doesn't have that much ability to reject. The mind is like, yeah, well, I guess that could be true. You know, even if things have been kind of hard lately, doesn't mean that things can't be becoming easier and easier. But if you outwardly declare something that goes very much against how you've been feeling, sometimes that's when we encounter resistance to it. I choose to be grateful that my work is coming together more efficiently and productively. See, so you can combine these, right? You choose to believe that things are coming together more and more effortlessly for you, that things are becoming easier and easier. It's safe for me to be successful. A lot of us have this idea that by being successful, somehow we are going to become unsafe. The story of Icarus flying too high to the sun. The higher they go, the harder they fall. These types of sayings, these types of ideas are in the underbed of our culture. And so we get scared. Sometimes we have even irrational fears that if I'm going to make more money, then I'm going to have to pay more taxes. I'm going to have to learn how to manage my money. I have more to lose, right? We have all these fears that are sitting there in the subconscious. It's important to suggest to the self that it could be safe. Yeah, a lot of people are able to be successful and also able to live lives that are safe for them and their families. Being successful doesn't necessitate that you are somehow going to be, that fear of success that comes along with it. That's like Biggie, more money, more problems, or any of these types of ideas. It doesn't have to be like that. You can choose that it actually makes your life easier and safer. And another way of thinking about this too is like, say that you live in a neighborhood that's more dangerous because your income hasn't allowed you to move to that safer neighborhood. And many times we have these ideas and they're actually completely false. If you move to the safer neighborhood, if you had more money, if you had more resources, you'd actually be able to provide more safety to yourself and those that you care about. You can also predicate your affirmations with a statement like, I'm loving, or I'm feeling, or feelings of relief, gratitude, or other emotions that feel good. So I'm loving the fact that I'm feeling safe and comfortable in my new workspace, and that more and more ideas are flowing to me effortlessly. I'm loving the fact that I'm becoming a master of manifestation. I'm mastering this. This is a skill that I'm mastering more and more every single day. And the more and more that I tell myself that I'm mastering this, the more and more powerful I'm becoming. I'm loving the fact that it's becoming easier and easier for me to accomplish my goals, that I'm having more and more energy every day, more and more vigor and tenacity with which I attack my goals. I'm becoming more and more sharp, my hammer, my chisel is becoming more and more effective. The more that I sculpt this work of art that I'm creating, the more that I am giving it life, breathing life into everything that I create. And my life is a work of art. My life is a masterpiece. and I use my paintbrush with the utmost dexterity and precision and elegance with which I paint and craft this masterpiece that my life is becoming, right? You can get creative, start waxing poetic about how freaking amazing you are. And a lot of people might think this is cocky or might think like, fuck all that. This is about you getting in control and having fun with your reality, with yourself, with your self-talk. Who says that you have to be any certain type of way and be all humble about this? If you notice, the people that have success are often the people that are actually much more self-aggrandizing. They're not the people that are making jokes where they're the butt of the joke all the time. They're probably making cocky jokes. They're probably making jokes where they're coming out on top, right? In the context of dating, you flip the script. It's like, yeah, I'm not that easy, right? It's like the idea of you put yourself on the pedestal. You don't put other people on the pedestal. You flip the whole narrative around. I am relieved. I feel so relieved that everything is finally working in my favor. Again, putting in that feeling of relief, giving yourself that feeling of relief, giving yourself this stuff in the 4D before it happens in the 3D. I choose to feel grateful that everything is going so well for me now. Everything comes to me easily and effortlessly. All right. So as you can see, there's many different techniques you can use. I have a million techniques in this book. Click the link in the description if you want to be notified when it comes out. I mean, out of anything that, like I've said in previous videos, I've spent years reading through countless books, going through courses, attending live like workshops, events, different mentors, different people that I've met. And this book encompasses everything I've learned throughout the years, spending tons of my own money and time and energy and researching all of this and presenting it to you guys in the most effective step-by-step manner that I could possibly create. And I've spent the past few months working on this book. So if you're interested in that, like I said, thousands and thousands of hours, thousands of dollars of material has gone into this, and it's going to be available for very soon, for a very fraction of the cost or the time that it would take if you were to go out and try to understand and find all these techniques yourself. This is I put it all together for you guys so that you guys can refer to it. There's techniques for your jobs, techniques for meta affirmations, declaring kind of the stuff that we went over in this video, relationship stuff, success stories, all these different success stories of how these different people that were successful, celebrities, public figures, how they were able to use these techniques. There's the book is interactive too. There's links in it that you can check that supplements the material. As you read, you can go and watch their interviews. You can go and watch these videos that accompany that will give you a more, allow you to see things in that format as well. Because reading is great. And reading, the way that I have this formatted, you can go to any section for anything that you're working on. But then the videos that are attached as well. The whole thing is like I said, I've made it all encompassing. That's really my goal with this whole thing. And I'm very excited for it to be released. Click the link, like I said, down below. You'll be notified when it drops. And with that being said, guys, much love as always. Drop this video with a like. Let me know your thoughts down below. Click the subscribe if you have not done so already. And I will see you guys in the next video.